we have to really get out of that habit of impatiently waiting on God and just be like, Lord, I trust you. When have you ever felt
Man,
ever?
not ever.
So I'm just going to trust you in every area of my life. And we want to be selective in what we trust him in. Like, okay,
Yep.
God, I can do this, I can handle this, but
Hmm.
I need you to handle that. But it's just like, and this is all respect to the guys that I've dated before. I picked wrong.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Bold, Bossy, and Blessed podcast. I'm your host, Nikisa Green, your conversationalist, where you can join me weekly as I discuss and share parenting, dating, and relationships, one conversation at a time. Now let's get into it. Yes, let's get into it, y'all. What's up? Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. I am the host of Bold, Bossy, and Blessed podcast, Nikisa Green, your favorite conversationalist. Hope everyone had an amazing weekend. I know I did. I had a full weekend and it was absolutely amazing. Started off Friday, spending some time with some friends at a soft lunch opening of a bar restaurant. It was very spacious. I look forward to the grand opening and I will definitely be back. Enjoyed spending some time with my friends. It had been a minute since we got a chance to hang out. I haven't really been hanging out in Texas because I've been traveling a lot. And that is my plan and my continued goals for this year. On Saturday, I was the MC of Speak That Movement Empowerment Brunch. That was absolutely amazing. If you guys get a chance, go to my Instagram page at Nikisa Green to watch the reel that I did from the event. And when the pictures are posted, I will post them as well. It was absolutely amazing to be around other women, especially in International Women's Month, to be around other women that are positive, that support one another, that are doing great and amazing things in this life, making an impact in people's lives, especially the person who is over it, who is Tiara. And she has her network called Tiara PR Network. So go to her website, speakthatmovement.com, to learn more about that and what she's doing. She's doing an amazing, she has amazing things going on in her business. So check that website out to learn more. Then from there on Sunday, got a chance. Well, let me backtrack. So at the event, there were also vendors, got a chance to get some things from these vendors. One of the vendors was Pieces by Us for us, but Pieces by Us, which is a puzzle company, but not just any type of puzzle company. They're actually a puzzle company that work with artists, and from the artist paintings, puzzles are made from there. It's really dope. I finally got a chance to get a puzzle that I am going to be opening with my granddaughter and going to put it together with my granddaughter. I've always loved puzzles. Since I was a little girl, my grandmother loves puzzles. She's done puzzles all my life. And so I know that I got that love for puzzles from her, as well as reading, because she loves to read. And I've always loved to read. And I remember my cousin Tari talking to me one day about how when she would come visit, I would be in my room reading. And when she would knock on the door, I'll be like, I'm in here reading my book. You know, I just absolutely love books. If you ever want to impress me and take me on a date, taking me to a library, and not just any library, but taking me to a library is probably a good thing. So anyway, so I got a chance to do that. And then Faith, My Journey, got a chance to buy a t-shirt from her. I already have her bracelets that I've been wearing and will be wearing on the show. So definitely going to tag her and the other company on my Instagram once this podcast is posted. Also, artist Wendy was there and she did live artwork at the event, oh my goodness, it was so amazing to watch, as well as see how it started and to how it ended. When I tell you that painting was absolutely beautiful. And I mean, she had other paintings there that she had already did as well. So I'm going to tag her as well on the podcast, on the podcast page when the podcast posts. So that event was amazing. That was Saturday. And then on Sunday, I got a chance to go to a book signing of someone that I met back when I was doing multi-level marketing, and they is having a book tour, and I saw it on Facebook. And so I was like, you know what? If I get a chance, I'm going to go over here. And so I got a chance to go over there and grab my book. And I am so excited. Like I said earlier, I just enjoy supporting other businesses, especially Black business, but I do just love supporting other businesses and what they're doing. So the book tour is called the Haitian Heroes Book and Art Book Tour. And so I was able to get one of the books that was on sale, and it's at Thoroughbred, and it's bringing Haitian history to life. So if you guys want to check that out, I also will be posting that on my Instagram page as well. And so at this event, though, you all, as I'm leading into my first topic, at this event, I met a guy, and what happened was I was asking the lady to take a picture of me and the author, and I think she was getting ready to take a picture too with the author. So this guy was like, "Oh, I'll take it." So I hand him my phone, and he's like, "Oh, what is that? An iPhone 2?" And I thought I was hearing things, y'all, because I'm like, did he just say 2? And I'm like, maybe he mean like, oh, you got an iPhone 2. But no, y'all, he tried to play me, talking about some, oh, is that an iPhone 2? No, sir, this is an iPhone 13 mini that I chose to get on purpose. Like, don't play me. And so it was funny. So he took a picture, and then I had it on Instagram because I wanted the picture to be on the Instagram camera. So he's like, "Oh, it's blurry." So I'm like, "Oh my goodness, here we go again with these Android users trying to act like they don't know how to navigate a regular phone." So I got the phone, put it on camera, put it on portrait, and was like, "Okay, Lord, please let him be able to take a picture on the portrait mode on the iPhone." So he was able to take a couple of pictures, and so I appreciated it. I told him thank you. And then I got my book signed, and I just want to pause here and just say that whenever I go to a book signing and whenever I purchase books from other authors, I am also thinking about things I want to do when it comes to like my book signing, and seeing other people do it, like be in the room with other people that are actually doing it. It's really inspirational to be around other authors. And I think that I'm going to be a little bit more intentional as I'm talking about this right now, a little bit more intentional, or making sure that I am getting to these events more. You know, it's different now since COVID was around. You know, they had like a lot of events stopped, and like people are not doing the things that they were doing before. So now I think people are now just getting back to having the events and doing things in person. And shout out to my cousin TQ, who had a book release in Illinois. So congratulations to her. I am so excited and happy for her and all that she does. And I can't wait to get my book, but congratulations to her. Just wanted to make sure that I mentioned that. And I also will be tagging her as well on my Instagram page. So make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, y'all, at Nikisa Green. I'm also on TikTok at Nikisa Green. So follow me on these pages so you all can keep up with what's going on in my life. Okay. So after I got my book signed, it was at a restaurant, but it was on the one side of the restaurant, and the restaurant is like it's an African restaurant, so they're known for having jerk food. I had never got a chance to eat the jerk food before, but I had heard about it, so I was like, okay, this is my opportunity to try this food out. So I go to the bar because nobody's really in the place. Like, there's only like, I don't know, 4 tables where people are at. And so I go to the bar and I order food, and then I got me a drink, and I'm, waiting for my food because I was going to go home. So the guy who took the picture for me, he comes over and he was like, oh, are you getting ready to leave? Are you going to get food and then you're going to leave? And I'm like, I don't know. I think I'm going to get a drink because the drink hadn't came yet. So the lady brought the drink, and I said, and I got the drink. So then he was like, he's probably going to order him a drink. And I'm like, okay. So, me, like, I'm slow a little bit when it comes to this. So I'm like, comes to this meaning that when I'm taken off guard or not expecting it, I thought he just came to the bar to like get a drink and he was making small talk. But he actually, so I was like, are you going to get a drink? He said, I probably will get a drink. And he was like, no, I wanted to make sure I came over and spoke to you before you left, because I wanted to make sure that I came over here to speak to you. And I'm just like, okay. In my head, I'm thinking like, oh, this man cannot be from Texas. Let's start there. Okay. This man is not from Texas, because there are a lot of laid back Texas men here, and they probably would have waited until they saw me either leaving out the door or would have just let me leave out the door. But the fact that he came from the book signing area all the way over to the other side to find me, just to speak to me and have conversation with me, I was like, this man cannot be from here. And lo and behold, he is not from Texas, but he's been in Texas for at least 20 years now. So I was just like, okay, that's interesting. So anywho, so we was like, small talking, and I was letting him know like, oh, I know the author from this company I used to be involved in. And when I saw it on Facebook, I was like, I'm gonna make sure that if I'm able to, I can come to the event. And so we started chatting, and I'm like, okay, so is he interested in me? Like, I'm like, is he interested in me? I had my pink on, had my heels on. And I was like, okay, let's see. So then the author got on the microphone. So I was like, oh, he's on the microphone. So then he was like, okay, well, let's go over there. I said, okay. I said, you know what? Let me cash out, and then I'll be over there. So I'm like, the lady brought me my food, and I cashed out, and he had got a drink, and she was like, what about him? And I'm like, oh, I said, oh, you could put his drink on my tab. And she was like, oh, okay. So I paid for his drink and went over there. We was listening to the guy. He was doing his thank yous and stuff because he's on a book tour. And then after that, me and the guy was chatting. Now, mind you, this guy is cute. Like, he's attractive. He's attractive. He's definitely one of my types. So, I'm very interested, but, I'm being patient and trying to make sure I'm now reading the signs. Because at first I thought he was just being friendly, because, just because somebody is having a conversation with you or wants to converse with you, they could just be wanting to be just friendly. And I'm the same way. So I didn't want to make it seem like, it was something that it wasn't. So after that, we continued to have a conversation, and then we ended up sitting down and having conversation, and the conversation was really refreshing. I was not expecting to meet anybody. And he, of course, he made sure I had his phone number. We exchanged phone numbers, and we have been texting since earlier. So I wanted to share that because I know that I am on this podcast and I talk about parenting and dating. And so sometimes there will be days where I am being transparent and speaking to current relationships or current dating, or be talking to you all about relationships that I've had in the past and what I've learned from them and how I've grown and how I have evolved into the woman that I am today. So this leads me to the topic of first dates. Now, I don't know how men prepare for dates, or even if they do prepare for dates, and I don't mean like their hygiene prepare for dates. I mean, like, do they prepare mentally? Like, are they nervous and things like that? So for me, naturally, I am always nervous whenever there is something new going on or a new event or something is happening. I am always nervous. And even when I was talking to the gentleman, I'm a conversationalist. So I can talk about any and everything, and we can talk for hours because that's just how I am. But I was still nervous when I was talking to him, especially because it has been a while since I have been able to have conversation like that with somebody in person, that I met in person and was able to, chit chat that I didn't know. So that was something different that I hadn't experienced in a while. And so when I meant like preparing for dates, like I wonder if guys get nervous, I get nervous when I go on dates. I get nervous if I'm going into a new meeting. I get nervous if I'm going into a new training. Like anything new that I'm going into, I always get nervous. But I will say that even with me being nervous, though, it does not stop me from showing up. I do not let my nerves stop me from showing up. I always show up. So when it comes to dating for women, I wanted to talk about how we prepare for first dates. And how do you prepare for first dates? How would you prepare for a date? I know for me, there are many things that go on with me when I'm preparing for a date. The first thing is where we're going. Where we're going determines what I'm wearing. What I'm wearing is very important because, for example, if we go ziplining and I got on a sundress, that's just not going to work because, you just can't be ziplining in the sundress, So it does matter where we're going. And where we're going, like I said, determines what you're going to wear on the date. And what you're wearing on the date is very important because, number one, first impressions is everything. Second impressions is everything. Third impressions are everything. Fourth impressions are everything. Like, every impression is everything. That's how I feel, so you always want to present your best self in general, especially when you are going on a date. So preparing what you wearing for a date, like once you have what you wearing for the date, like that is probably the bulk of everything. And then deciding on which perfume you want to wear, if you want to put on makeup, how much makeup you want to put on, if you want to do natural makeup, if you want to, go a little bit bolder. Like, it just depends. I know from previous experiences when it comes to men that they do like natural, either a natural face or a natural makeup. So for me on a date, it would probably be around that. But today I did my own makeup and still got somebody's number. So I guess I did a good job. And then, as a woman, we are already doing things in general, whether we're going on a date or not, that we do when it comes to our upkeep. We're already getting our hair done. We're already making sure our nails and our toes are done. Like, we're always making sure that we are up to par. And for me, must-haves in the purse is gum or mints. Gums, mints, Lip gloss. Do not be going on no date with no crusty lips. No crusty lips, okay? Put that lip gloss on. Or get you some chapstick. Chapstick still work. It's been working since I was little. It still work. You don't want to go on dates with dry lips. You want to have some chapstick on or some lip gloss. And then of course, if you want to put, lipstick on or whatever, or color or whatever, that's fine and up to you. But other than that, like, those are like must-haves. You always want to make sure that your breath is on point. Why? Because if your breath stink, and I know y'all probably listen to this podcast like, what is this girl talking about, breath stink? Your breath stinking can change a lot. Can change the course of the date, So like, if you're talking to somebody and your breath stink, they aren't even able to listen to what you're saying because your breath stinks. So now the attention has gone off from what you're saying verbally to the breath stinking. And now they don't even know what you're saying. So it's hard to connect. It's hard to have an authentic conversation with them because your breath stink. And you're definitely not getting a kiss at the end of the night. You probably get a forehead kiss or a kiss on the cheek. They have made forehead kisses intimate. So you probably get a little peck on the cheek, I don't know. But that's something that's very important. Like mints, gum, make sure you have it in your bag. Make sure you have lip gloss, chapstick, something in your bag. Make sure you have deodorant on. Make sure you're refreshing your deodorant. Like, you just want to take away any distractions that can happen on a date. So you want to make sure you're doing your due diligence. And I know my target audience, which is probably in my age group, in their 40s, are listening like, man, we know that. Well, obviously not everybody knows it, okay? Because I have male friends and I hear stories, okay? So not everybody knows. So if this is not for you, then good and amen, and thank God for you. I also keep a small perfume bottle in my purse as well. So like, how you can get like your regular size bottle and then you get a smaller size for your purse. So whatever you're wearing that night, make sure you put the smaller one in your purse. And what else I was going to say? And then remember to breathe and relax. I have to remind myself that all the time. Like, girl, it's okay. Just breathe. You're okay. Be yourself. I would never forget some years ago when I was dating and I used to call my friends or I text them and be like, okay, I'm going on this date and I'm so nervous. Like, oh my goodness, and they was like, just be yourself. And I'm like, I am being myself. Myself is nervous. Like, my normal self is nervous. Like, what are you talking about? You're not helping me in this moment. But as time went on, I realized what they were saying to me. And so now, in knowing that, I just remember to relax and breathe and be myself. And being myself requires me to have a level of vulnerability where I am coming into the date with the only expectation of being respected, and then me in turn respecting that person as well, but not looking to be at a destination, because it is more about the fulfillment of the journey and the journey that we are all on that causes us to be fulfilled in life. And so now when I go on dates, I am really not focused on, okay, I need to get a second date. Or, we're going to get engaged. Or, we're probably going to get married a year from now. I'm not thinking any of that. I am thinking there's another human being sitting across the table from me or sitting next to me or playing this game with me. And I just want to know who this human being is. And getting to know another human being definitely takes time, and I never want to rush that or put a timestamp on it. I want it to naturally, organically happen. Natural conversation, not force, is what I like. And you all know I like to have conversation because I'm on this podcast having a conversation with you all. And the other thing is that like some questions on the first date. So let me backtrack. Before I go on the first date, we definitely have to have some phone conversations, not just texting. Okay. I grew up in the era where we had two phones in the house. One was in the kitchen. One was in the living room, but it had a long cord so it can go like, to different rooms on the floor. And I remember the phone would ring. Everybody running to the phone to see who's on the phone, who's the call for. Like that was the enjoyment, the happiness that was going on where, the phone was ringing and people trying to see who was on the other line. This is before Call ID came out. Not to age myself, which I'm fine with aging myself, but this was before Call ID came out. This was before we had cell phones. This is back in the day when we had pagers and beepers, and even before we had pagers and beepers, So I am still a person that like to converse over the phone as well as text. I'm not against texting. I just feel like when you first meet somebody, texting is not the best form of communication because a lot of things can be misconstrued because you don't know that person's personality and you don't know how they're saying something. So you can only assume how they're saying something. And sometimes people assume based off their own experiences, and that's not fair to one another. So I like to converse over the phone. And of course, when you're talking to the person while you're on the date, I don't like first dates to be like the movies because you're not able to talk and really engage. You're just, watching the screen together, and then depending on if you, say a couple of things during a movie or you may laugh during a movie, but I'm more of a person that I either want to do like something fun to break the ice, and the ice meaning that I don't know you, you don't know me. Depending on if you're introvert, extrovert, or ambivert like I am, like it just depends. So I always just like to do something fun and start off with something fun. But if not, I'm open to that as well, And just wanted to say, going back to my friends telling me to be myself, they were also telling me to be myself because they know who I am and they know my personality. And they wanted the person that I was going on a date to also know my personality and experience, who I am as a person. So these are some of the things that I do in preparation for the date. But other than that, I really just enjoy authentic conversations and authentic quality time with another human being. I will not objectify a man when it comes to dating. And I am not saying this because I've always been like this. I am saying this because 3 years ago, I think it was 3 years ago, I got a dating coach. Her name is Tora Sense on Instagram. And I went through her program and I learned more about myself and my expectations and who I was and what I wanted. Like, I learned so much in the program, y'all. So you thinking like a dating coach, you got a dating coach? And it's like, only shallow person would think that it's only that, you know what I'm saying? Like most mature wisdom people like myself would know that the program was more than just having a dating coach. And I'm very appreciative because like I was saying, I learned so much about myself and I learned so much about what it was that I really want. And having clarity about what I want is very important, because then I have been able to know who I want up front, before it gets too deep, I guess. I'm able to wean the person that's not out for me quicker, because I do know what I want, and I am just open as well. And this will probably be how I would end it because I didn't know I was going to talk this long about first dates and dating. But I remember when this guy asked me, I think this was probably last month, asked me, like, they were asked, why do you keep, what makes you keep getting back out there and dating? And for me, what keeps me getting back out there and dating after being divorced twice and being in serious, committed, monogamous relationships, after having, my heart broke. And if you ever had your heart broke, you know how painful that is. Thank God it has been a minute since I have had my heart broke. And when you've had your heart broke, and not like, obviously not like literally broke, but that pain that you can't take no Tylenol or no Aleve for, that pain that just only goes away with and through time, that type of pain, to go to experience that, get back out there, experience it again, get back out there, experience it again, and then still wanting to get back out there, knowing that there's a possibility or a risk that you can get your heart broken. I think for me, I'm not focused on that, on getting my heart broken. I am more focused on, I want to be married. I want to have a companion that I do life with forever, or until we're to regardless, or till Jesus comes back, that I can experience and just enjoy life with. And because of that hope of finding the one for me, I'm not going to ever give up on love. I'm going to always have hope that I find someone that's my person, that I marry one day. And I believe that that is probably the thing that continues to help me out here in these hot mess dating streets, which I don't conform to that these dating streets is all bad. For me, it's not all bad. And there are a lot of amazing men out here. There is not a shortage of men. I don't care what anybody says. I don't have that mindset of lack. There are a lot of amazing, great men out here. And when it's time, it's time. So on that note, I am going to end this podcast. Thank you for joining Nikisa Green as I talk and be transparent about dating and a current dating situation for me that happened recently. And hopefully you all can share with me your dating experiences, and if you prepare for a date, how do you prepare for a date? And if you are a guy, yes, DM me or email us bossy@gmail.com and let me know how you prepare for a date. And if you want to be on the show, email me as well, because I would love to hear how men prepare for dates. Like, I want to know if they get nervous. I want to know what goes through their mind when they are picking the place or the spot for the date. Like, I just want to know a little bit more on the men's side of how they are when it comes to first dates. So, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Bold, Bossy, and Blessed podcast. Remember to be bold, make boss moves, and stay blessed. Until next time. Go to my website, www.boldbossyblessed.com, and use discount code OVERCOME to purchase the ebook, Overcome Obstacles, How to Overcome Obstacles and Turn Them into Success. Thank you for listening to another episode of Bold, Bossy, and Blessed podcast. Make sure you're following me on all social media platforms at Nikisa Green, and make sure you subscribe to this podcast as well. Until next time, be bold, make bossy moves, and stay blessed.